Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Rolling Conversations. My name is Mick Garnett. I'm the CEO of Wheelchair Sports, New South Wales ACT, on International Day of People with a Disability. It's an incredibly important day, a very, very important day, of course, in our calendar and indeed everyone's calendar. And what a lineup we have for today's special, and we'll introduce one by one. First of all, we welcome Her Excellency, the Honourable Margaret Beazley, AC, QC, Governor of New South Wales. Your Excellency, good afternoon.
Hello, Mick. Lovely to be here.
Thank you for being with us. And also the patron of Wheelchair Sports New South Wales ACT, Paralympian great, Louise Sauvage, OAM. Welcome, Lou.
Thank you. How are you going?
Great to have you. And one of our emerging athletes, a super wheelchair racer in her own right, about to tackle the big Year 12 next year, but one of our favourites here at Wheelchair Wales ACT, Sarah Clifton-Bligh. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Nick. Good afternoon.
Great to have you. And of course, if you're watching along with us, please send us your comments and questions and we'll do our best to get to as many of them as possible. So one of the things that binds all of us, of course, is our love, in particular, for wheelchair racing. And I should mention that, Your Excellency, you are the patron of this GIO Oz Day 10K, the great wheelchair race that will have its 32nd year.
Got that wrong, Mick. You got it wrong.
Tell me.
I'm the proud patron. I'm the proud patron. I'm not the patron. I'm the proud patron. And I mean that seriously. It's an honour. It's an extraordinary honour.
Yeah, thank you. And you're also the official starter, of course, with the pistol.
I just hope I get in the right direction.
we might touch on that in a second. And so, as I say, the thing that binds us is, of course, we have our proud patron of the race. We have a 10-time winner in Louise Sauvage, and we have Sarah, who has completed the race once, but of course coming back in 2021 to have another go. So I wanted to start by asking what our experience of the race is. Why is this such a special race? And if I may, Louise, start with you as a 10-time winner. I know this is a race that's very dear to your heart. Why is the Oz Day 10K so dear to you?
Oh, it's very dear to me. Obviously, it's one of the only races that we have is wheelchair only in Australia, and it's one of very few in the world that's wheelchair only as well. It's obviously on our national day, so Australia Day, and it was started with Peter Trotter and Jeff Wiseman, who are great wheelchair racers that have gone before, and they had a vision to have this race in Australia and get international athletes out here so they could experience our country, and for once we didn't have to travel to race. So it's a fantastic event. It brings everyone together and we get to show off our beautiful city and have a race on our national day. And yeah, it's fantastic, and it's something that I've been at every year since I think the second one that was ever raced. So well, except for one actually, but yeah. So where else would I be on Australia Day? Either racing or supporting. So yeah, it is fantastic and very, very proud to have been associated with it for such a long time.
Indeed, and Your Excellency, you had your first experience with us last year. Interested in what your impressions of the great race were?
Well, I've actually watched it on TV many years, before then, but I'd actually never been down and seen it, and nor have I ever had the privilege, had previously had the privilege of speaking to the competitors. And I guess if there's one word that sums up what I see sort of at the beginning is determination, just absolute determination. But that actually just tells you something about our great athleticism. I mean, no one's a great athlete without determination. And that determination's got to be there not only on the morning, but all the way through. So it's a very, to be there and to actually feel the determination and just to feel that I'm going to do it regardless is absolutely terrific. And I last year, I've been using a few sporting terms today for various reasons, as you know, Mick, but just bowled over.
Yes. And Your Excellency, I was standing next to you when that extraordinary moment occurred. Bridie Saul is the youngest ever wheelchair racer and athlete to cross the line in the Oz Day 10K. It was a very special moment.
Very, very special. Yeah. It's look, if you could jump in the chair with them, you would. If I can say that, I mean, that's how exciting it is, and
yes,
and just so terrific. So well done. I a marvelous thing.
it is a wonderful race. And Sarah, you, I imagine, have you watched the race many times before competing for the first time in 2019?
Yes, I did. I think I first watched it in 2018. I did the junior race in 2016 for the first time, I think. And yeah, it is terrific to watch. Yeah, it's. Sorry, what was the question?
Well, I'm interested. Where does it rank in terms of toughness for you as a race? You know, you've done lots of track racing and some road racing. Where does the Ausday 10K sit for you? Was it a particularly tough one?
Yes, especially if the weather is not the calm, I guess. If it's really hot, it's really, really tough to get through.
What about the hill, Sarah?
The hill? Yeah, the hill is painful.
But we do lots of practice on it, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And so let's keep talking about it. We do note that we've got the Rooster online watching us probably from Bathurst. So to Warwick Holmes, one of our much-loved younger junior members of Wheelchair Sports New South Wales ACT, and of course, Your Excellency, you've met the Rooster, watching along from Bathurst. So g'day Rooster and everyone, of course, watching us online. I'm just interested in some of the great memories. Of course, the superstars of our sport have all, in terms of wheelchair racing, have all won the race. So Kurt Fernley, of course, has won this race 11 times, Louise 10. I wonder, therefore, Louise, any chance we get you rolling again just to knock Kurt off for 11?
I think we've had this conversation. No.
It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
But what perhaps may I ask the question? What's your favourite memory of this race? Is there one in particular that sticks out for you?
For me,
yes.
I think just I don't know whether there's one necessarily, but I think having different internationals come out and race. You know, for the first time when Chantel came out to race, the first time when Jean came out to race, Jean Driscoll. There's a number of people that I didn't think would ever come to race in Australia, but it was fantastic to know that they would come out and race with us and share the day. So that was probably really, really special. I know we had Prince Charles come to the event and present one year, which was very stressful for the race director at the time, but it was very, very special for us and a touch of royalty there. So there's been a number of different things happen, I suppose, throughout the series, and of course culminating with the Oz Day, which is always fantastic. So there's a lot of memories there, that's for sure. And of course seeing Madison De Rosario, who I now coach, win for the first time was fantastic as well, you know, to know that she could conquer that event that I had done so many times as well.
Yes, so Madison De Rosario, superstar of wheelchair racing. Of course, she's won the race 6 times now in the senior category. So coming after your record there, Lou, of 10. Your Excellency, I'm interested in, we talked about you being the official starter, and of course I might retell the story where my first year as CEO, I was with the former Governor of New South Wales, His Excellency David Hurley. And I went to give him the starting pistol and describe and give him the training. And he mentioned to me he thought he would be okay without training as a former service.
That's right. All right for him.
He was okay. He passed on the training. But we had a moment this year, didn't we, or earlier in the year? So that was the first time you fired the shooting pistol and it went off. Without any problem.
Yes, but you think you're nervous? Like, what if I mucked it up? Can you imagine the stress of that? I mean,
you'll be right.
I was so ready, and you think, what if it sticks? What I don't pull it correctly.
Yes. Well, thankfully it went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And
Sarah,
it's actually a responsibility because everyone's primed. And I can, not having been an athlete myself, I can only imagine what's going on in those moments as you're primed just to take off. So, and given a couple of the close results, seconds are everything.
Yes, indeed. What was your sport, Your Excellency, growing up? What on the topic of sport then, did you play a variety of sports growing up, or did you specialise?
At school, netball.
Yes.
And then at university, I played squash for Sydney University. But I only got to A2. Didn't break it to A1.
Well, at some stage, we'd love to get you in a chair and have a bit of wheelchair basketball or something like that. It's a wonderful experience. Now, Sarah, I'm interested, therefore, in your perhaps favourite memory. I imagine it was crossing the line, was it not, when you finished your first race?
Oh, actually, no, it wasn't. I was just doing the third lap, and it was very, very hot. And Austin from Canada, who was my mentor, had already finished the race, and he did a fourth lap to encourage me on, and that is my one favourite memory. I think.
I imagine.
I
don't think I would have done it without him, to be honest with you.
Wow. And how are you feeling, therefore, for 2021? Are you confident? Are you in good shape? Are you ready to go?
Yeah. To be honest, if I've done it once, I can do it another time and another time again.
We'll be doing our practice, won't we, again? We'll be doing it in January, so we make sure you can get up and down that hill really, really well.
Yeah, I think I've grown a bit. Hopefully, not enough to get a new chair, though.
No, you've got to stop eating, Sarah, seriously.
And of course, it is a very special race, and it's on a very special day as Australia Day. Louise, you mentioned it earlier. I wanted to touch on. It seems to me to be an entirely fitting way to start Australia Day, that we start it with this great race. There's, of course, the smoking ceremony at Barangaroo, and then what we try and encourage is everyone to come up over the hill and watch this special race at 9 o'clock, and it really then sets up our National Day in Sydney. It must feel great, Louise, to have this on Australia Day in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the best thing was having the internationals come out and really celebrate with us and see what a public holiday is like in Australia. It might not always be that great at the end of the day, but there's so many activities going on and everything happening, and it's such a beautiful harbour to be involved with. And why not race on under one of our great icons, of course, the Harbour Bridge, but also near the Opera House, and it's just unbelievable course for them to be part of. So yeah, it's very, very special to have everyone there on that day, and people from interstate as well, as we potentially going to have in 2021. It's potentially going to be an all Australian race, which is very unusual. But we're determined to keep it going. So yeah, we're hoping that those borders stay open and we can definitely have one of the great races in 2021.
Indeed. Your Excellency, I had the experience of talking to you this year in January at this year's race about what a very busy day you have. So, which is why we're so thrilled that you join us in the morning. Interested in your reflections, therefore, on the race and its place in Australia Day in particular.
Look, it's interesting. Just to mention something or build on something that Sarah said, and the mentoring aspect of things. As you know, we're in the middle of investitures here, and I speak to people in all walks of life. I spoke to a gastroenterologist who was receiving an award, and I said, "What is it that made you decide to take this particular specialty?" And he said, "A good mentor at the right time." And in a way, we're getting that. That's what Sarah has just said. in her own experience.
Mm.
You know, a good mentor at just the right time of a particular race. But Sarah's going to have that with her for her life. And that's going to be the one thing that's one of the things, but a significant thing that's going to encourage her all the way through. And I suppose also very much, you know, coming from an able-bodied world and working, you know, within a really broad community, I think the significance of this is not only in having the race itself on Australia Day, and I couldn't agree with you more, Lou, it is just the most beautiful day down around the harbour. But I think going from the commencement with the very significant and formal and wonderful recognition of Aboriginal Australians, and then moving to Australians who have disabilities, otherwise you wouldn't be in a wheelchair, that's the reality, but who just do everything with every talent that you've got. And then I move to, for example, you know, the armed forces, and they use their training, their talent for everything, for Australia, for everything they've got. And I really just see it as such a significant aspect of Australia. It just pulls us all together. And that's what I love about it. I mean, I love the athleticism of it. And like I said, I wasn't a novice to the race itself, but I think the athleticism and the determination just tells so much about those individuals, but that we actually honour it, respect it, celebrate it. Every one of us has got some sort of, you know, background, withdrawal, you know, syndrome or something, and to get the inspiration from our great athletes is something that is not easy to measure in words.
Well said, here. And I'm always interested to reflect on the original strapline for the race. So, as Louise mentioned earlier, Peter Trotter and Jeff Wiseman created this race in 1990, and the first running of the race was in Centennial Park. But the strapline, the marketing strapline, was "Kids with disabilities need heroes too." And so, as an organisation, we keep hold of that idea, because this race is in of itself a wonderful race, but it is also a call out to everyone in our community to come rolling with us, whether that's wheelchair racing or wheelchair basketball or whatever your sport happens to be. So we're very much going to focus in 2021 about the Oz Day 10K is an invitation in as we try and find more people to come rolling with us.
Yeah. I'll get your boys basketball team, okay?
Great, thank you.
Right, they're so my son still plays a couple of nights a week in. Well, they think they're pretty competitive, but it's a you know, just a nighttime basketball team. I reckon I could get them out, and I suspect they'd be whipped though. I think it'd be very good for their egos.
They might be too. I wanted to turn our attention to the big race in 2021. Of course, as Louise mentioned, with COVID-19 and the travel restrictions from various parts of the world, it is likely to be an all-Australian or Australian, New Zealand and perhaps Pacific Island affair. So unfortunately, we won't have our great international athletes from all of the different parts of the world who generally come out, the wonderful Japanese contingent and those from other parts of the world. That said, what a collection of Australian, New Zealand, Pacific Island athletes we have. So I'm interested just now to hear a bit perhaps about what's going to be the really interesting part of the 2021 race. And Sarah, we might start with you in the sense that you're obviously racing in 2021. Tell us, who are your rivals for the junior title?
I think it's Cormac. Hopefully, because I do have one over him that I finished it, the first one. So I have not forgotten that.
Hang on to that.
What about Ethan?
Yes, Ethan. Yes, definitely.
Who else is there on a Saturday that might, or people that we know that might be good as juniors?
Corey as well.
Is Corey still a junior?
Oh,
I don't know.
That does have me thinking.
There's Warwick Rooster. He's junior still.
Yes. There's Ava, who I'm not sure.
Don't know whether Ava will race the 10K.
No.
Maybe not.
What about you, Louise, in terms of 2021, of course, being an all-Australian affair? Within the women's division, we'll still have this wonderful matchup. And Your Excellency, you've met these two superstars we're talking about here in Madison de Rosario and Eliza O'Connell. Now, Louise, you're a little biased given you're Maddie's coach, but what have we got to look forward to with these two going head-to-head again in 2021?
Yeah, I think it'll be a great race. They're both very, very strong. It's hard to know. They haven't seen each other much, in the last, since February, pretty much racing. So we've just started to get back onto the track and racing a little bit. So they're actually hoping to do a 5K on the weekend in Canberra. So if they get to do that, that'll be the first time that Eliza and Madison will have raced each other on any distance, to be, for a matter of fact, since February this year. So it should be good to see, the fitness levels of both of them. Obviously, I already know what Madison can do. So she might be coming out and doing a bit of work on the Ausday 10K course before. So she might come train with us, Sarah, early on a Sunday morning to get some course practice. Yeah, that'll be nice, won't it?
Yeah.
I can yell at Madison then, apart from all you guys. But yeah, so I think it'll be a good battle, that's for sure. I look forward to it. But
and Lou, then...
So can I ask you a question?
Please.
And given that it is, you won't have the international competition, although with Madison and Eliza, they don't need international competition, I don't think. But will there be any focus on maintaining times so as to keep up that competitiveness, or is a race and whoever gets over the line first, that's it?
For the 10K, it'll just be the race is the race. Unfortunately, the course is a little bit different from last year, so from this year, I should say. So it's hard to measure sometimes the times from each race. But on the track, they look for times, definitely. Some of the guys are still looking for times for Tokyo. Madison and Eliza have both been pre-selected for Tokyo already, so that's pretty nice for them. But it's just race practice and things like that, which we haven't had the opportunity to do. And it's looking like we won't get overseas between now and before we go to even the games. So, but yeah, the Ausday 10K is, first across the line. Absolutely.
What about the men, Lou, for those that are looking forward to the race? Again, without Tomoki Suzuki from Japan, who I believe has won the last 3 on the trot. It opens the race up, doesn't it, to an Australian?
Yeah, hopefully Jake will come through, definitely. He's doing really, really well, and again, just starting to race again on the track. So Jake would have to definitely be the favourite for the Ausday 10K next year, absolutely. So yeah, look forward to seeing him smash it. All Aussie affairs.
There has been some talk, and by some talk I mean we've been talking about in the office, trying to get Kurt Fernley to come out of retirement to roll with us. I wonder, Your Excellency, if we need to have a conversation with Kurt at some stage and see if we might entice him into rolling.
Oh, I just twist his arm.
Right.
I wouldn't be subtle about it at all.
Excellent. Well, I'll pass on his email address to you then.
Excellent.
And of course, we had a wonderful experience, Your Excellency, with you. So for those watching on prior to the race, we have a function, and this year we had that at Anzac Memorial. And each year we have a junior athlete or an athlete who does an address. And this year we had the wonderful Cormac Ryan, and Sarah referenced him earlier, but it was a very special moment, Your Excellency, wasn't it, when Cormac addressed the room and spoke beautifully?
Very articulate. And look, again, coming at this, I guess, from, I suppose, as a really opening of experiences for me, I think it's just terrific that we have these wonderful athletes, wonderful people, wonderful artists. I mean, I've been meeting disabled people who are just wonderful artists, and very open about the nature of what it is that puts them in a wheelchair or, whatever might be the disability. And I think that's important in itself, not only, sort of having the competitions, etc. But I just think when you can say things as they are, this is a member of our community, this is what it is, and let's everybody support each other, let everybody inspire each other. I actually found that as significant as the determination and the excitement that I saw as well.
Indeed. Thank you. We have a question there. I don't know how to answer this one, to be honest, from Dennis Devereaux, who's one of our great wheelchair racers from over in WA and has come across to the race and will be coming across in 2021. He says, without the internationals, do I have a chance in the Masters division? Now, I hope that he does, otherwise this is going to get awkward. But over to you, Lou.
Sure, why not, Dennis? Have a crack. Hopefully your borders will stay open, mate.
Of course, Dennis is very famous as well.
We've got one case today, don't you?
Yeah, it's not community transmission, though. That's what I'm holding on to.
I think so. Hopefully it stays contained, but it just shows you how virulent it is.
Indeed. If Dennis can race as well as he can do air guitar, he's going to go very well. So Dennis featured on one of our rolling conversations and took it upon himself just to take the moment and do some air guitar. So good luck, Dennis, and we're looking forward to seeing you in January. Louise, just interested, and Sarah as well, is there anyone else that we can keep an eye on in 2021? Because I think as Your Excellency just said, there are the superstar stories in this race, but there are also wonderful sub-stories and subplots to this race. Who else, for those that will be watching on the race, who else can we keep an eye out for? Sarah, have you got anyone that we can keep an eye on?
Oh, I don't know. Could we potentially get Aaron into the junior one?
Aaron Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're having a junior race or not, Sarah, this year, because of the course has changed a little bit. It's it might make it a little bit difficult, so we might not be able to have it, to be honest.
That is really sad, because that's the one thing that's actually really fun. Like, if you're like a junior.
It was downhill too. It was excellent.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's have a chat about that. Louise, anyone that you think we can keep an eye on?
I think Cormac, is going to blow everyone out of the water. He's improved massively, over this year. He's absolutely smashing it on the track. So I think a few of maybe the senior guys might be a bit surprised to see him near them. So it'll be really great to see him do really well. Hopefully it's not too hot in the day. A few of our guys really struggled in the heat. So I'd definitely say Cormac, and Ethan's doing really well. He's just transitioned into a different pair of gloves. So hopefully, he'll smash it up the hills as well. But both boys have been training really well, so it's exciting. And hopefully Brad will be amongst it as well, Brad Pemberton. So he's been doing a little bit of work now. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing all those guys do well.
Indeed. We're just about out of time, and we do need to finish at 3:30, so we might wrap it up. So one by one, Your Excellency, we wanted to say thank you for being our proud patron of the Oz Day 10K race. We can't wait to see you in January, of course, when we get together to have the welcome dinner in Sydney, and then, of course, on January 26th, the big day, when it all happens. So thank you for joining us this afternoon and being a part of it.
No, thank you for the thank you for the privilege, and thank you for the conversations. It's been terrific.
Yes, and on International Day of People with a Disability, of course, it's wonderful as well to have our patron of Wheelchair Sports New South Wales ACT. In all of my time within sport and not-for-profits, I've never met a more participatory patron than Louise Sauvage. So, Louise, always available to help and grow the sports. Thank you for being a part of Rolling Conversations.
No worries, thank you, and I wish everyone a happy International Day for people with disabilities, and get out there and get amongst it.
Indeed, and our emerging Paralympian, Sarah Clifton-Bligh. Thank you for being a part of it as well, Sarah.
Oh, don't worry. It wasn't too difficult. I will say that.
Excellent. Thank you to everyone watching on. It's been a wonderful edition of Rolling Conversations, and we've really enjoyed being with you. Happy International Day of People with a Disability. Farewell, everybody.
Farewell. Well done.
Bye now.
Good luck. Bye-bye.